By the way, the craziest thing, I'm trying to effort this video. So Bret Hart's like a wrestler, 61-year-old wrestler, WWE. He was getting inducted into the Hall of Fame this weekend, and a fan, clearly unscripted, attacked him, and the WWE people beat the living hell out of him, which they should have. I mean, the guy's a crazy loon. It's frightening. Can you imagine being attacked by some random fan? It is the craziest video, and my bad we haven't shown it yet. I don't follow generally induction ceremonies at WWE, even though we're now in business with them. But the video is some of the craziest stuff I've ever seen in my life.
It's why I'm always on the player's side when it comes to these fan interactions.
They're nuts.
At any point, somebody can just lose their mind. Like, what stopped that guy? How many giant humans were standing around that ring, and he just dove in there and tackled him? I mean, it's really scary.
You see it occasionally in European soccer. I'm surprised we don't see more of it, actually. You see it in football about 5 times a year. So we'll get the video next hour. I don't care if we're supposed to run it or not. We have to run it. Let's bring in Chris Haynes, senior NBA insider, Yahoo Sports, who's taping this as we talk. He's got all sorts of stuff. Look at that. He's got his phone. I don't know if you're into pro wrestling or not, but wait till have you seen that video?
I saw it.
Is that the craziest thing you've ever seen?
I saw it. Bret Hart go after a legend like that, man. Nah.
61-year-old guy.
Hey, man,
I'll say this. That fan, whoever went in, got the you-know-what kicked out of him.
He didn't think that all the way through.
Yeah, he did.
That's why I didn't have a problem with Russ when the guy ran on the court after Russ. I'm actually surprised that Russ handled it that well.
No, I don't have a problem with Russ Westbrook. If some fan runs on the court, backhand him. I'll always support the player on that. All right, so by the way, I am shocked. The Athletic, 30% of the players in the league polled on who they'd start the franchise with. James Harden's 10th, Steph Curry's 6th, Kevin Durant is 4th, Anthony Davis is way ahead of all of them. Aren't you a little surprised by that?
I'm not, Colin, because I think when you're talking about starting a team, you want to start your franchise off with a player who can give you at least a decade of producing at a very high level at a top cliff. And so I think that's why you're seeing some of the younger names, Giannis, arguably, I think that would be obviously a lot of people who they would start off number 1, 24 years old. Arguably, people are saying already he's become the best player in the league overall. And so I don't have a problem. AD, I get the concerns. I get what you're saying.
He's been hurt.
He's been, and that's the only knock.
Well, he's not a real leader guy. He's a great player, but nobody sees him as Magic. Nobody sees him as like Jordan, leadership skills of like a Shaq. He's a great player. But if I'm going to start my franchise, come on, one of the absolute empirical things is, are you a leader? Tom Brady's a leader. Jeter's a leader.
I get that.
Like there's certain guys. Like,
who's your guy, Colin? Who would you start your team off with?
Kevin Durant.
Okay, all right. Well, then you got what? You start your franchise off with a player who could probably give you 4 years max.
I'll take 4 years. Listen, I went into a lot of relationships. I was just hoping to have a fun weekend. I get 4 years of great.
You in and out, huh? All right.
I'm saying 4 years. You know what? You get 4 years of great, and then you figure it out over 4 years.
But I understand. You're saying 4 years of great, Colin, but you still have to build the rest of the roster up. So when you're talking about building a franchise, I'm giving you one pick. Then the rest, you got to fill it out. It takes about 4 years before you finally get the team together.
James Harden's 10th. A 10th. He's the best one-on-one player in the league. Analytically, he's better than Kobe. I don't think he is.
That's too low. That's too low.
Steph Curry's the best ball handler, best shooter. But unanimous 2-time MVP.
He's 30 years old, Colin.
Well, so what?
Colin, this is not college. You're talking a 4-year window. We talk about building a team, a franchise. We need a decade of dominance.
These guys sleep in kale pajamas. Those days are over. Drew Brees is 40. I mean, seriously, if I honestly think like LeBron next year, I think he's going to have a great year. I don't think they're going to win a championship, but LeBron will come back and give you a bunch of numbers and all. I'm not into his stats, but he'll give you 28-8. I think players now are healthier than ever. By the way, I think half the time these guys are doing stuff overseas or they're doing stuff, and I'm not blaming them. I'm not saying any names, but I think these players are taking stuff, and if your league doesn't test for stuff, I think they're all taking it. You think I'm crazy?
I ain't saying that.
I think Durant's got 4 great years left, and then remember he can shoot, and then if he wanted to, 3 more years to shoot. And He's Dirk Nowitzki's 50. I mean, you don't think Durant's got 7 more years of game in him?
7 of what? What type of game? What type of game we talking about?
4 excellent, 3 really good.
That's fine. That's fine. But it still takes time to get the other players involved, to get to draft. Because if you're talking about starting a franchise, you have to think about it from starting. What is it called? What is it called when you start a team from scratch? Expansion team. So it takes time. That's your first pick. Now you got to draft really well. Now you got to hope those players pan out. And so you have to look at it from that standpoint. And that's why I get it. Most of the time you're going to look at players who are dominant in the age of 24 and under. And, I understand why the KDs and Stephs are left below.
Okay, I'm going to mention something for the second time today with a little bit of a guilt. Westbrook was voted the most overrated player. I'm just throwing it out there. This is what the players said. Does it validate guys like me who go out there and say, he's just too relentless? He's too hard to play with.
So when I'm talking with players, when they, now our votes are made public when we make these all NBA votes.
Okay.
And I've had conversations with Kevin Durant and, other guys, LeBron as well. Oh, excuse me about my alarm going off.
That's good.
I was playing for your show, Colin. But they always talked about, sometimes when they feel like we give a bogus vote to another player, they always say this: players know who the real gamers are in this league. We should have these votes. We should have these ballots, right? And so that speaks volumes if Russell Westbrook is voted the most overrated player by his own peers. It's not just us or we saying that he's stat chasing sometimes or
by the way, this isn't just hating because Steph's not on it and Kevin Durant's not on it. A lot of great players are not on this.
It speaks volumes when it's coming from your peers. And because that's what they always say. Players know. Game record. I spoke to DeMarcus Cousins on my podcast last week. I asked him, are you kind of feel a certain type of way that they're not mentioning you as one of the top centers now? So like everybody's forgot. He was like, they know. The players know. And that's all that matters. I don't care what little Joe Smo says on Instagram. The players know who the real guys are.
I will say this. I feel a little validated today, but I'm not, not here to praise myself. That would be grotesque, and I do feel like a little win. By the way, a story came out last week. Brian Windhorst, we all know Brian, and that Space Jam 2. LeBron's getting some guys having a little trouble getting some stars to line up for a movie, and even Joy and I have both been pro LeBron. But there does feel like there's a little tipping point with LeBron that the king and the chosen one and the self-reverential, it does feel the tide's turned a little on LeBron. He doesn't have that Robin Hood thing like 5 years ago, right?
You think so, Kyle? Think so?
I do.
Look, I look at it like this. I can't pay too much attention to that. But look, there's a commitment. There's a certain amount of time involved where the players have to be in L.A. in that certain time frame. And, guys have commitments, especially when you're trying to get other stars to play along. They got most of the big time stars are going overseas and holding camps and, promotional shoots. And so it's all about a timing thing. I wouldn't take that. And I wouldn't let that lead me to believe that they just don't want to be a part of it. It's all a timing situation as of right now.
All right. Finally, I got to ask everybody today. Kyle Guy, 70,000 people, college kid, had to hit all 3 free throws. CBS went to a commercial after 2. He's standing there by himself. I was blown away by Kyle Guy. Those are the biggest free throws I've seen in basketball, AAU to NBA, in years. Eddie House said, who cares? You're a shooter. Go hit free throws. What did you make of it?
Those are tough. 3 free throws.
70,000 people in a football stadium.
That was ridiculous. And I know it's being overshadowed by the stupid foul.
It was a foul, though.
It was a foul.
Of course it was.
You can't get in a man's space like that. No, that was a silly play. But to go out there and hit 3 free throws and know that this is going to put you guys in the come on,
now, Chris,
it's unbelievable.
There's none of his teammates are even in the free throw line.
So
he's by himself.
That's so hard to do. That's so hard to do. And that's not like that's home court now. Everybody's not being quiet now.
They always tell you the depth is terrible in a football stadium transformed to a basketball arena. It's a terrible place to shoot.
Unbelievable.
Yahoo Sports, Chris Haynes, NBA Insider. We got to go hour 3. Good seeing you, the Hurst.
Appreciate you.